Welcome to the training video for the Statx First Responder 500 Fire Suppressant System for Utilities. This training aid will guide you through the Statx First Responder system specifically for utility use when suppressing manhole, cable space, or vault fires. During this video, you will learn about Statx, what it is made of, how it works, when to use it, how to deploy it safely, and what to do after the system has been used, including handling and disposal. We also suggest that you take time to read and review the information about the product, which can be viewed online at the Statx website. This includes the MSDS, owner's manual, and operating instructions. We also suggest that you review your own company policies, procedures, or work practices as they pertain to manhole events for additional information and instruction. Let's get started. Every day across the country, utilities are faced with an aging infrastructure and with it, a growing number of manhole events, or what is commonly known as a manhole fire. Burning insulation from electrical cables, cable failures from overloading, oil spills, transformer failures, even leaves and other organic materials all contribute to the fire itself, sometimes resulting in an oppressive explosion. That explosion can send the manhole lid several hundred feet into the air is what is called the champagne effect. This allows oxygen to enter the space, thereby providing additional fuel for the fire, all the while damaging whatever's in the manhole, causing outages to customers and hazards to anyone that might be in the area or even the manhole itself. The only recourse has been for firefighters to use water to fight the fire or to use fire extinguishers. This not only further damages whatever was in the manhole or vault, but also depletes the oxygen. Fire extinguishing agents can further damage cable insulation as well with their caustic contents, but more on that a bit later. First things first, Statx is not a fire extinguisher, but rather is a fire suppressant. It is a new and innovative tool designed to aid in the suppression of fires, including manhole and substation fires, and for use as a personal protection device for workers in an emergency egress or entrance situation. It is physically and functionally similar to a smoke grenade, with the major difference being that it delivers a highly effective aerosol fire suppression agent known as Statx. The first responder contains a solid charge of aerosol generating compound. The compound is made of a patented mixture of potassium nitrate and other reagent grade additives. It is mostly 1 to 2 micron sized potassium radicals. There is also a low pressure inert gas. The canister is a standard issue smoke grenade with a safety pin or safety lever on the top. The units come in a few different forms of ring pins or safety levers, so make sure to check with your local representative on which style unit you may have on your system. The Statx First Responder 500 Fire Suppressant System works by releasing a highly effective aerosol fire suppressing agent that will knock down and extinguish the fire in a manhole or vault as shown here. The aerosol has ultrafine particles that form a large surface area of interaction between the aerosol and the fire. Take a look at this illustration. We all should be familiar with the fire triangle. It shows the three basic components of a fire: oxygen, heat, fuel. If we take or remove any one or more of these components, it will result in the fire not being able to sustain itself and eventually going out. Unfortunately, in a manhole or vault, this is not possible until everything is consumed. In the case of the champagne effect, even more oxygen is introduced into the fire. What the fire triangle doesn't show is the fourth important component: the chemical reaction that sustains the fire. This chemical reaction is just as important as the oxygen, heat, and fuel. It is this chemical reaction that the first responder combats and is highly effective with. Statx reacts with the free radicals of the flame to interrupt the chemical reaction that keeps the fire going. Statx does not reduce the oxygen or fuel in any significant way, but it does interfere with the fuel combustion. The unit can be deployed in two different scenarios. First, by a utility crew responding to a manhole, cable space, or vault fire, or by the attendant working above the manhole, cable space, or vault fire for use as a personal protection device for workers in an emergency egress or entrance situation. Simply stated, the first responder reduces the flames and knocks down the heat of the fire, thereby buying time for a safe exit or rescue to take place if a worker happens to be trapped in the manhole, cable space, or vault. That's why a utility should consider a Statx First Responder 500 fire suppression system becoming part of their safety program for confined space entry. Just one first responder suppresses a fire in a confined space up to 800 cubic feet. For larger manholes or cable spaces and vaults, multiple units should be used. The units come in a few different forms of ring pins or safety levers, so make sure to check with your local representative on which style unit you may have on your system. For the first responder with a ring pin and safety clip. 1. Grasp the unit in one hand firmly. 2. Twist the ring pin clockwise to release the safety clip. 3. Pull the ring pin firmly so that it is away from your body. This will start the reaction, which usually takes 4 to 5 seconds with a time delay. 4. Toss the unit into the manhole. Be careful to avoid throwing it onto a cable rack, on top of a transformer, or other equipment. 5. In 3 to 5 seconds, the unit will activate and the potassium carbonate will fill the space. 6. The unit will not explode like a hand grenade, but rather the unit remains fully intact and sends out an aerosol stream in a circular discharge pattern around the base of the unit. Discharge time is around 20 seconds. 7. The fire should be sufficiently depleted or even extinguished. Remember, this is a fire suppressant, not a fire extinguisher. Another question that utilities might ask is, will Statx work underwater? What happens if the unit falls into the sump hole or there is water in the manhole, cable space, or vault? The answer is yes, it'll work. As shown here in this test, Statx will work even underwater and in the harshest conditions. Important note, if the manhole, cable space, or vault is occupied, avoid tossing near or onto the occupant. If the worker is incapacitated, avoid landing the unit near the worker. For the new style first responder with a ring pin and safety lever, 1. Grab the unit in one hand firmly, capturing the safety lever with your palm or fingers. 2. Twist the ring pin clockwise to release the safety clip. 3. Pull the ring pin firmly so that it is away from your body. As long as you have your palm or fingers over the safety lever, the unit will not activate. This new feature allows for extra time to properly target your landing area. 4. Toss the unit into the manhole. Be careful to avoid throwing it onto a cable rack, on top of a transformer, or other equipment. 5. In 3 to 5 seconds, the unit will activate and the potassium carbonate will fill the space. 6. The unit will not explode like a hand grenade, but rather the unit remains fully intact and sends out an aerosol stream in a circular discharge pattern around the base of the unit. Discharge time is around 20 seconds. And finally, 7. The fire should be sufficiently depleted or even extinguished. Remember, this is a fire suppressant. It is not a fire extinguisher. Another question that utilities might ask is, will Statx work underwater? What happens if the unit falls into the sump hole or there is water in the manhole, cable space, or vault? The answer is yes, it'll work. As shown here in this test, Statx will work even underwater and in the harshest conditions. Important note, if the manhole, cable space, or vault is occupied, avoid tossing near or onto the occupant. If the worker is incapacitated, avoid landing the unit near the worker. Disposal of depleted units can be achieved by simply tossing it away in a metal scrap bin. But first check with your company's environmental department for specific local or state regulations governing disposal. Caution! Do not pick up a spent Statx unit, as the surface temperature can be quite hot to the touch and could potentially burn you. Wait several minutes before attempting to pick up the depleted unit. Heat gun testing has shown temperatures above 450 degrees 5 minutes after deployment, so be careful. You can pick up the depleted unit 15 to 20 minutes after it has been deployed. Up to this point, we have shown you what the Statx First Responder 500 fire suppressant system is, how it works, and how to use it. But the one question that utilities have is this: will it deplete the oxygen in the manhole, cable, space, or vault? And can I breathe in the Statx? The answer is yes. There is no oxygen depletion or reduction of oxygen. As discussed earlier in this training video, the first responder stops fire by interfering with the chemistry underlying the fire, not by changing the atmosphere. We decided to put the first responder to the test using a controlled fire in a test manhole. The purpose was to imitate a real live scenario where a fire is present and personnel are in the manhole while the Statx was deployed. This test was conducted independently of Fireway but jointly by two East Coast utilities at a utility training center. The two veteran underground instructors have over 55 years of combined experience working in underground environments and were well versed in all aspects of the hazards that are encountered in these environments. Rescue equipment was on standby for safety and all personal protective equipment was in place. The fire was started and allowed to burn. The Statx was deployed. The instructors entered the manhole from below and shut the door behind them. Watch what happens next. Not bad at all.
Nope.
A little smoky.
Yeah, just a little smoky.
Sort of smells like gunpowder.
Yeah.
How long were we down there? About 10 seconds?
About 10 to 15 seconds.
Right, just enough time to get out. Eyes are not tearing. Kind of smells like being outside in a barbecue. without the hot dog or hamburger smell.
Yeah.
We hope that you are now well informed on the Statx First Responder 500 fire suppressant system for utility applications. Just a few additional points to mention. Statx aerosol is non-conductive and non-corrosive. This is important for utilities as it will not eat away at the cable jackets or other sensitive electrical or electronic equipment. It leaves minimal water-soluble residue, which can easily be vented, vacuumed, blown, or washed away. It poses no environmental hazard and is environmentally safe and does not deplete the ozone, nor does it have a negative effect on global warming, so it is a wise choice for companies going green. Also, it has a shelf life of over 10 years, a wise investment. More importantly, it greatly enhances safety by providing a solution for safe egress or rescue of a worker trapped in a manhole, cable space, or vault during a fire. We hope that you have found this training aid useful and that it has shown the potential of the Statx First Responder 500 fire suppression system for utilities. Thanks for watching. We hope that you have found this training aid useful and that it has shown the potential of the Statx First Responder 500 fire suppression system for utilities. Thanks for watching.